You've probably heard people talk about the chakras, the 7 main energy centers we have in our body. But what you may not know is how to actively cleanse and flush those chakras so that your body gets more energy and you have better health. I want to share with you what I've learned about chakras for many, many years and a technique for cleansing and flushing. And I want to say right off the bat that anything I say, I would suggest you run it through your own consciousness and make sure it works for you. There are many different ways to look at the chakras, many different ideas. I want to share with you what I have formulated over these past 35 years. The word chakra translates as wheel or disc. However, I prefer to see chakras as valves that open and close, energy centers in our body that act like valves. We have 7 main ones, as I've mentioned. Each chakra resonates to a particular frequency or vibration of thought or wisdom. And I call this the 7 wisdoms that are integrated into each chakra. What is so important to understand is that when one of the chakras in your body is open, when you have developed the wisdom that is keyed to that center, then it opens up and it circulates life force in that part of the body. And that part of the body, of course, has healing energy flowing through it. It receives vitalization. However, when you engage the opposite frequency that chakra relates to in wisdom, then you sort of close off that valve, it tightens up, or it gets clogged up. And that's the way I look at it. I like to look at it almost as a filter, just like the filters you have with your furnace. And you replace them frequently because they get clogged up. Well, that's what the opposite frequency of the wisdom in that center will do. It will clog it up or shut down the valve. And what happens is that part of the body gets less life force. It gets less vitality. And consequently, down the road, you are prone to more injury or illness. The energy of the chakra changes far sooner than the physical body manifests illness. So if you catch it early, you can adjust. You can add the wisdom that's needed. You can open up that center. You can revitalize that part of the body. In this presentation, what I'd like to do is go through each chakra and talk about the type of wisdom that flows with it. Then I'm going to do part 2, where I actually guide you through a meditation. This is a specific meditation that I've developed over many, many years. I've led it to many groups, and it allows you to flush out those energy centers and revitalize them. Let's begin by talking about the root chakra, which is located at the base of the spine in the tailbone area. That root chakra is very connected with survival and being grounded. It is a very masculine polarity. It's extroverted and outgoing. This energy valve that opens and closes is keyed to the frequency of action, courage, confidence, goal setting, achieving things in life, being able to take risks. That's the root chakra energy. It is so vital and so needed, but it is related to the physical body. So let's talk about the frequency that opens it up, and let's talk about the frequency that clogs it. Courage opens it up. Enthusiasm opens it up. Enthusiasm that's gutsy and action-oriented. Exercise itself tends to open up the root chakra. It grounds you in your body. It connects you with the physical. What tends to clog it up is fear or laziness. And I really hate to use that word, but sometimes we spiral into apathy. Sometimes we spiral into not being physical enough. Sometimes we spiral down into a state where we lose our enthusiasm, where we get bored, where we get lazy, and that will clog up that root chakra. It needs to be enthusiastically flowing with energy, taking risks, engaging in adventure, moving forward to manifest what you want. It really is a courageous warrior energy, very needed, especially right now When so many people are living in a virtual world, they are living from behind the screen in their cell phone, they are living through social media, and they're not out there moving their body, doing productive work. Well, that's the root chakra, and that's the vibe that opens it up. Another very important vibration connected with that first chakra has to do with money and the feeling of lack. Certainly, we all go through money issues from time to time. But if we go into fear, if we go into lack, it creates incredible pressure. And consequently, many times you get a low backache, right? Often the low back can also be stimulated because the root chakra goes into some trauma when you move or you get uprooted. Engaging security, knowing that you are safe, knowing that you are courageous, and the bottom line with that root chakra is creating confidence. Confidence that you can engage in the adventure of life. The second chakra is just moving up slightly in your body, and it's centered in the reproductive area. For a woman, this would be in the womb. It is that area right in between your two hips, so in that reproductive area. And that second chakra is so different from the first chakra. The first one, as I said, has a masculine polarity. The second one has a very soft feminine polarity. Whereas the first chakra, the root chakra, needs to reach out and be extroverted, this second chakra attracts magnetically, and it's much quieter. It's a place of quiet feminine wisdom. Now, this second chakra, the reproductive chakra, as I call it, is very much connected to the frequency of creativity. I mean, it's no wonder that's where in the physical body a woman will hold the baby or house the baby or develop it in that second chakra area. So creativity is very much part of the second chakra, and that involves creatively problem solving. That involves creating art perhaps, but the whole frequency of creativity. Interestingly enough, I have some strong feelings about creativity because I am an artist. When you create, you are actually receiving. Creativity requires that you open up and you let it flow through you. So you receive and then you flow it through you. You are not necessarily giving, you are receiving. And that's the other very important point about that second chakra, is it responds to the frequency of magnetism and attracting to you, and also receiving. So what happens if you don't receive, if you go through a long period of time where all you do is give and give and give, outflow and outflow and outflow, and you don't inflow, that area shuts down. That valve gets clogged up. It closes off. And what happens then is that part of the body doesn't receive the energy it needs. Is there any wonder how many women end up with hysterectomies who have lived a life of constant giving and not receiving? That area didn't get the energy it needed. Having giving and receiving balanced in your life is very important for that second chakra. The other thing that we have to think about that shuts down that second chakra is when we slip into martyr or victim, especially the martyr vibe, especially that vibe of, oh, it's okay, I don't need anything, I'll just sacrifice, I'll just give and give and give and give. All that does is slam shut that second chakra. It needs to be in balance. The other thing about that second chakra is flow, allowing energy in and allowing it to flow through you. Of course, if we want to keep that second chakra vital and flowing and energized, we have to look at, why don't we receive? What gets in the way? Is it guilt? Is it a lack of feeling that you deserve it? Is it worthiness? All of that needs to be addressed because it has to be open. I suggest there's a really good affirmation, sort of short mantra that you can say, which is, I deserve to take up space. And that opens that second chakra. Now we move up the body and we get to the solar plexus chakra. Very important energy center and highly attuned to emotional safety. So this chakra, located right in the center of the body, responds so well to soothing, nurturing, comfort, safety, and security emotionally. It is so powerful and important, because what do you do if you're around somebody who is yelling or screaming or making you feel a little bit emotionally unsafe? You cover that area. You cross your arms. You try to guard it, right? So this chakra will shut down when you are around people who have unpredictable, intense emotional reactions. It doesn't need to shut down, but it might shut down. That's what sort of triggers it, is that sense of it's not predictable. I don't think I'm emotionally safe here. Think of children who were raised in an alcoholic family. One day what they do works out really well. The next day it triggers the alcoholic parents and they have an eruption. It's that instability. It's that unpredictable response, leaving a person not feeling safe. And of course, this energy center is directly related to digestion. And what happens when you don't feel safe? Quite often your digestion gets all messed up. You don't assimilate your food as well. You get a tummy ache, right? Panic, anxiety, fear, all of that can close off that solar plexus chakra. So you want to soothe, you want to nurture, you want to get to the feeling that a baby has when it has a full tummy and a dry diaper. You want to get the feeling that the baby has when it's being rocked to sleep, that comforted, secure feeling. But you want to be able to give it to yourself, because the only thing you can do is learn that you are constantly emotionally secure and safe with your connection with the universe and with your connection with yourself. We cannot control the people around us, but that middle chakra in the digestive area in the solar plexus really needs to be nurtured, soothed, and comforted. Learn how to do that. Moving up to chakra number 4, we get to the heart chakra, right in the center of the chest. This is the energy valve that responds and opens to joy, to laughter, fun, harmony, all of the happiness vibration, to unconditional love also. And so when we play, when we are lighthearted, when we smile, when we engage our sense of humor, the heart chakra naturally opens up, and then it feeds and nourishes our lungs and our heart and that entire area of the body. How often have you heard about people who were miserable, who all work and no play, drudgery of life, or feeling betrayed, or feeling rejected, or brokenhearted, who end up with a heart attack? You don't want that center closing down and getting clogged, because then your heart and your lungs don't get the vitality that they need. If you want to open it up, engage in happiness, joy, frolicking, playfulness, sense of humor, laugh more, have fun. And guess what? Even if you work long, long hours, you can still engage fun. It is up to you to look through that consciousness and operate from that vibe. Moving up the body to chakra number 5, we arrive at the throat chakra. And this engages a high level of spirituality, but that valve in the throat opens up when we speak our word, when we communicate with authority, when we know that what we have to say is important and valuable. It is so necessary to be able to speak up and voice your opinion. It is so vital to know that what you have to say is important. You need to know that deep within your own being. And the throat chakra, interestingly enough, is a little bit connected with the root chakra in that it involves courage. You have to be courageous enough to speak up when you need to speak up. And what clogs that up? Fear of not being liked, fear of being rejected, fear of being criticized, fear that somebody might think you're mean, especially with women. Think about it. Women are socialized to avoid being seen as mean And so then they don't speak up when they need to because of the fear of confrontation, the fear of being perceived in a way they don't want. And so they hold it in and they stuff all that energy in the throat, and it builds up and it clogs up and it stresses out thyroid issues, tonsil issues, neck issues, you name it. So if you want to open the throat chakra, you engage in the frequency of respecting what you have to say, and even maybe bringing the heart chakra up and flowing it through the throat so that you say your words with love. The frequency of love can be added. And that means that if you need to send some bad food back to the kitchen when you're at a restaurant, you do it. You speak up. But you can do it successfully with love. Release the fear. If you need to confront somebody or say no or have boundaries, you say it, you speak up, you circulate that energy through the throat. It is so important to communicate and not let that energy get clogged up. All right, moving up to the next chakra, number 6 is the third eye, located in the forehead area. And again, we're getting to higher and higher spiritual vibes, but you know what? No chakra is more important than any other. They must all work together. But this third eye chakra deals with objectivity and perspective and wisdom. What is so important to understand about the third eye is it engages the eagle on a high branch kind of energy. In other words, being able to observe, seeing the big picture. The other thing about the third eye chakra that will open it up and circulate energy so beautifully is if you think in terms of purposefulness. In other words, in this school of life that we're in, you look at obstacles as stepping stones. You ask yourself, this situation, which is really intense, is serving me somehow. What am I learning from it? What techniques can I channel through to help me get through this with more harmony? That's a third eye consciousness right there. And it's so important to think that way. I can't tell you how many clients, astrological clients, I have where I say, how is this situation serving you? What are you learning from it? And they've never thought of that in their life. So that engages the third eye, purposefully looking at life, asking yourself what is the learning opportunity, polishing your soul, and not just looking at events as being something bad that happened, but using them for catalysts to grow and to develop. There's a great phrase I know that seems to help open the third eye, and that is to look at life as a quest, not a test. Because the third eye will clog up and shut down if you go into pass-fail. I'm doing great versus I'm failing and I screwed up. If you can change that to I'm learning. I'm a learning, growing soul, and this is a quest, and this is adventure, and I'm going to use all these events to polish. That opens up the third eye chakra. One last thing, of course, we always associate the third eye with intuition. Well, intuition is more of that big picture perspective. It is more opening up to the spiritual frequency of wisdom, and all of that opens up when you allow yourself to view life objectively and understand your soul purpose, or the purposefulness of incarnating. And now we get to chakra number 7. This is the crown chakra at the top of the head. And this is the chakra that opens and circulates energy when you connect with the concept of oneness. When you merge with the divine intelligence, when you understand that there is no separation between you and the infinite intelligence of the universe, whether you want to call it God or spirit or goddess or whatever word you use. The crown chakra opens up when you understand that you are an unlimited spiritual being and that within you is the divinity, is that divine spark. That's what opens that crown chakra. And of course, what clogs it up is when you separate. When you group everybody into little bitty parts and you form walls and you separate, or when you feel totally alone when you build up again those walls and you never merge. You are supported, you are loved, you are connected on an infinite spiritual level. That's the frequency of the crown chakra. And when all 7 chakras are firing at the same time in circulating dynamic life force, it's like the 7 tones in the scale in music just ringing away. It's a beautiful thing, those frequencies all working together. And it is so important to use them all together, to see them as a unit. One chakra is not any more important than the other. We need the lower chakras to navigate life on earth, to be powerful, to be courageous and successful. We need the upper chakras for higher consciousness, for connecting with the divine. We live on the earth plane. We need all 7 chakras working together. Those energy valves spreading life force through every cell, every muscle, every tissue, every organ in your body. In part 2 of this presentation, I'm going to lead you through a meditation where you get to flush and open and key into those chakras, the frequencies that open them up. So if you want to take an active role in creating more vitality in your body and releasing clogged up areas, consider doing that meditation. Thank you. I'm Kathy Rose.